Here in the Cherokee Nation, we believe in passing our knowledge down to the next generation. Bryan Waytula has been the recipient of a lot of cultural knowledge as it's been passed down through generations of Cherokee artists in his family. As you'll see, today his family's intergenerational influence is thriving.
I work in a lot of the classical mediums, charcoal, graphite, painting, acrylics mainly, but then I started to extend those into more mixed medias. I know there's artists that like to work in just one style of medium and they have their own particular style. For lack of a better word, I get bored. I've got a couple things that I'll try and do in my artworks. Growing up, you had Oklahoma history, which taught about the land run. You didn't get too much of the Indian Removal Act and Trail of Tears and where I came from. A lot of people don't know our side of it, our history. And so a lot of my work becomes somewhat educational. Osiyo Nagata, Dakoroa here, Tsane Disugaski. My name is Bryan Waytula. I'm a Cherokee artist. It just seemed like when I started getting crayons and markers and things like that into my hands and even playing in the dirt, sculpting, it's kind of just how I got started. And born in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, my mom and dad and my grandmother there in Tahlequah, very supportive in the arts. Just anything we could do to create. My mom learned basketry from my grandmother. She passed on to me a lot of the traditional ways. My dad was from Chicago, so came to Northeastern State to play basketball. And he was good, so I always wanted to kind of follow in his footsteps. Coming from a hardworking family, we didn't have a lot of money. So that was one of my main goals, was trying to either get to college through the arts or through athletics. I earned a scholarship on art to the University of Oklahoma because I earned my bachelor's of fine arts in visual communications and design. All these design jobs, they were just really heavy on your experience. I was like, okay, well, how am I going to get that if you won't give me an opportunity? And I started substitute teaching while I was trying to freelance and find a job. So I was a certified educator, but I also wanted to coach. I really enjoyed basketball, and coaching, it just took a lot of hours. You don't get home until 11 o'clock at night some nights after game night. So I had to kind of cut out something. So I decided to put athletics aside and start to focus more on just the art education and then my own artwork. Like anything else where you're first starting out, you're trying to work your way up, trying to balance your time working and being professional as an educator and still trying to find time for your own artwork. And somewhere, I guess the balance starts to swing the other way. I'm building up my body of work. I did a competition, now I'm going to 2 or 3 other competitions while I'm still teaching. You're banking on yourself that someone's going to like your work enough to take it home and give you their hard-earned money. Got to a point where I had a following and starting to build up a reputation as an artist. My wife was very supportive, and we'd been working really hard to have my studio built where I could do these things. And when I sold a piece for $10,000, that's when my wife and I looked at ourselves and were like, let's just focus on going professional full-time and creating artwork full-time. When I did Cherokee Art Market, and that was really one of my first coming out shows. I had a nice body of work, different mediums and styles, which appealed to all kinds of collectors. I was awarded Best of Division for a drawing in colored pencil that I did that people were like, is that a painting? So I wanted to be able to start doing some of these shows that my mom was competing in and showing her work in.
This is your fourth?
This is going to be your fifth.
Okay, this is my seventh. And they asked me to judge. That was an honor for me.
It's been fun, going with Mom to these shows. Just the memories I'm trying to make with her while I'm on the road, but going to Santa Fe, which is one of the largest and longest running Indian markets. The first award I probably got that really caught me off guard was when I got the Bill Rabbit Legacy Award. That one choked me up a little bit because I knew Bill before he passed away growing up. And obviously, I knew Tracy Rabbit, who's been a mentor to me as well. Cherokees, we've always been able to adapt to, new things coming in or coming on. What I want to do in my work is to, one, kind of educate and be a storyteller in my own right. So this one is going to be making its way onto a canvas. Trying to just adapt to different mediums that can communicate with collectors or even educate others who may not be familiar with our heritage or culture in a contemporary way. And started working in a digital realm where I was starting to create an NFT, which is a non-fungible token. But when you right-click and copy something off the internet, you don't technically own that. It's kind of like a print, it's a copy. With an NFT, it's coded to where you actually own that piece. The NFT is more or less like you buying a digital one-of-one original piece of artwork. I want to use something that is identifiable. I call them parodies because it is parody art. You look at it and you have to kind of do a double take, but then again, you're getting an educational message across. So my first one that I really experimented with, Wheaties. What does that word sound like? And, treaties was the first thing that came to mind. Have you had yours today from the Wheaties box? I changed that to where have you honored yours today? And then those sold out really quick and I was just like, hey, I'm on to something. And then I started experimenting with denim jackets. I think the first time I tried that, I should have asked, but I just took it out of my wife's closet and just started going to town on it. I wanted to put the outsiders on. So I decided to change that a little bit and put the founders of the American Indian movement on there who were viewed as outsiders. And so I put that on one of my former students. She modeled for me and flipped up the collar. That became a drawing. I took that drawing to the Autry Museum. I brought the jacket with just kind of as a show. And I had so many offers to buy the jacket itself, not the drawing. So then I was like, okay, let me get a couple more jackets. And then it just snowballs kind of into something else. Okay, what else can I do? What else can I put this on? I think the Greeks never talked really about the person that passed. They just asked, did he have passion? And that's one thing I want people to remember me, is I was passionate about my artwork. I was a good person and, loved my family. And just tried to communicate people with my artwork. And hopefully that artwork will be something like my mom's baskets and my grandmother's baskets, that those Cherokee pieces will be around, to communicate with people long after I'm gone.